This is the biggest mistake Israel has done after they killed Sinwar, publishing this video. You know, that's not the boss fight that Sinwar was maybe, or his followers hoping that he will go and barehandedly fight 10 Mossad agents and Shabak agents, or go Chuck Norris and Jackie Chan on the Navy SEALs and the commanders of Israel. That's not how he went. He went down by a group of trainee soldiers who were going there to defuse some ordnance, and then ended up bumping into these guys. Hey, what's going on? Pew, pew, pew. Ah, they ran away. Boom, boom. They got them all down, sent a drone, threw a stick at them. Bomb. The building is down. And it just shows you how Israel still do not understand the mentality of the Arab man. You see, in this video, when they went in the drone and they captured him hiding from a bunch of Israeli trainees, literally soldiers who did not finish training. They were teenagers 9 months ago. And they encountered Sinwar and his goons and his bodyguards. One of them was, you know, an UNRWA teacher. Obviously, he had an idea of an UNRWA teacher. Why is no one talking about that? But anyway, here he's trying to hide from the drone after he's been defeated with the encounter by the Israelis, which up until now he was hiding in tunnels. And apparently he ran away from the tunnels when Israel was closing on him. And that's probably, I'm just assuming here, where they executed the 6 hostages that might have been surrounding him. One of them was the American hostage, Hirsch. I find this very fitting that in his last moments, his arm is almost amputated and bleeding. And one of the hostages was the American hostage Hirsch, and his arm was amputated by Hamas. So that's some kind of a ironic justice. In the end of his life, that's how he died. Israel should have learned from the Americans. The way they handled Saddam Hussein, the way they handled Osama bin Laden with their very oiled war PR machine was very efficient. You see, when an American soldier dragged Saddam Hussein out of this tunnel that he was hiding in, he looked like a rat, like a dog, and they grabbed him and the doctor put the flashlight in his mouth, and he basically looked like the low-life criminal that he was. That humiliation have struck so many waves in the radical Muslim world. So many Muslim dictators around the world saw that and they got terrified. It's like, oh my God, if that can happen to Saddam Hussein, who was once a symbol of pride and power with the golden Kalashnikov in his hand, killing his own people. Look what happened. He messed with Americans and he ended up dying like a dog. And then later on with Osama bin Laden, after they killed him, they just wrapped him up with a garbage bag and threw him into the ocean like some kind of a low-life scum. Didn't even give him a burial. You see, these actions have shaken the entire Muslim world, especially the radical Muslim world and the dictators around the Middle East and around the world, because they saw this and thought like, oh my God, this could be us next. If we don't tune down our evil actions, it could be us. And it also probably reduced by 20 to 30% the recruitment to the radical jihadist suicide bombing school. You know, when Mustafa and Ahmed were sitting in their desk and waiting for the recruits, who want to come and learn how to be a suicide bomber? Come on. And then Mustafa looks at Ahmed and says, hey, Ahmed, I think we're kind of getting bankrupt here. What's happening? And Ahmed's like, yeah, man, after they killed Saddam Hussein and what they did to Osama bin Laden, no one want to be a suicide bomber anymore. There's no honor in that. There's no pride in that. And that is what Israel still doesn't understand, the mentality of the Arab men. After Sinwar was eliminated, when the images were surfacing, when I first saw the image, I honestly thought it was an AI generated. It looked too good to be true. It looked too accurate. It looked too much like it was Sinwar in the most humiliated way, you know, just kind of laying in the rubble with a bullet through his head, his brain is mushed, his hand is cut, a bunch of IDF soldiers standing around him, cutting his finger, taking it to Israel for some kind of fingerprints and DNA sampling. And, you know, someone's plucking a stick in his mouth and lifting up to see his weird, awkward teeth. That was such a humiliating image. They should have stopped it there. Because what happened is, and that's what you need to understand about the radical Arab Muslim world, the standard level for what is a hero in their world is very, very low. In order to be a hero, you don't need to be some kind of a doctor who just invented a cure for a disease. You don't need to be a scientist that is going to figure out how to reach Mars. You don't need to be an entrepreneur who went and built an orphanage in Africa. You don't need to be a hero who sacrificed his life to save innocent people. All you need to be is basically a murderer, a rapist, who is doing that in the name of Allah and shouting Allahu Akbar as he does it. You know, you have so many images where you see a radical Muslim, you know, an entire radical Muslim nation get beat up, their faces smashed, America or Israel just coming and obliterating them because they tried to genocide them. And then you'll have some kind of a dumb teenager going around with a broken teeth and throwing like V to the sky, and all the Muslims around the world, well, not all of them, I'm not talking the radical ones, will go like, yeah, the resistance, the shaheed, the batal. That's how they think. Their level of what is a hero is very, very low compared to what we have in the West. And once you understand that radical Islam is a very dangerous, very immersive, extreme ideology, it's a religion. The people that believe in that radical death cult religion are grasping to hold into any chance that can morally justify to them that they are doing the right thing. You need to work really hard to justify with yourself that kidnapping babies, murdering women, raping women, burning people alive, using your own nation as human shields, kidnapping hostages and hiding in tunnels with them, destroying your own nation is an act of heroism. So they're trying really hard to grasp to any chance that might help them look like they're the heroes. And what Israel did with that video, they gave them that chance. Rather than having the effect, which will reduce jihadist radical Islam recruitment around the world, they got the opposite. They made him look like a hero. We all know he's not a hero. But in this video, when he's sitting there throwing the stick at the drone, it looks like a sign of defiance. When he's having this kafia, you know what? Instead of hearing it from me, let's actually hear it from what the Arab people are saying in Arab social media platforms, like this guy over here.
They look at the last moment of his life. While he was defiant, he was resisting, he was wearing battle fatigues with a Palestinian kafia, injured, bleeding. Yet when the Israeli drone basically was firing at him, he threw a piece of wood at the drone itself. And many Palestinians are celebrating the courageous stance of Sinwar, the heroic moment that he basically was defiant to the very last moments of his life.
Let's stop here. Defiant to the very last moment of his life. He was not. He was hiding in tunnels, using his own nation as human shield, surrounding himself by innocent women and children and victims that he kidnapped and killed their families, and hid while he allowed his own nation to suffer, to die, while he sent other people to fight in his behalf and die, while him and his friends were just gathering money. He was trying to escape from Gaza several times, even asked Qatar to help him, but he couldn't because Israel will catch him. And that was probably an attempt for him to escape. He had the passports on him, a lot of money. He was probably trying to escape from the Gaza that he ruined. And now they call him a hero because of that video. One thing you need to understand about Sinwar, allegedly, the only people Sinwar ever killed with his own bare hands were actually Palestinians, because he started that unit for Hamas, which purpose was to find Palestinians who were collaborating with Israel and murder them in the most brutal way. And let's say, boy, they were not very picky in looking at evidence. It actually ended up being used as some kind of political opposition elimination kind of system, where someone will just rat someone because they want to get him out of the way, or because Mustafa is in love with Samira, and then Mahmoud comes and gets Samira and marries her, so Mustafa is very jealous, and will go and rat Mahmoud and tell that he's a collaborator. They will just go and kill him immediately. Sinwar was torturing Palestinian people. Sinwar is responsible for the killing of 1,200 Israelis and the deaths of 40,000 Palestinians, including women and children. He's a very evil man. But this video, like I said, they need to do a lot of mental backflips just to grasp into something that will show them that Sinwar is some kind of a hero. And now you have this.
Sinwar's defiance, even at his last dying moment, contrasts sharply with the Israeli narrative, because Israel repeatedly tried to portray him as a cowardly leader, hiding in underground, bunkers and tunnels, surrounded by Israeli and other hostages.
There's literally eyewitnesses and videos showing that. In order to defeat radical Islam, you need to not only eliminate its soldiers and terrorists and take away their military capabilities, you need to humiliate that ideology. And what is the best way to do that than to show it on their leaders? Up until now, their leaders were seen as cowards, as billionaires who stole all the money from the people and they were hiding away. Haniya was assassinated while sitting on the toilet seat, and then came this video. Now, don't get me wrong, I was super interested and curious to see the video myself, but that does not mean that you need to share that. America knows that. They did that very well with Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein. You don't give these people a chance to grasp into something that will make them look like a hero, that will spark another flame of resistance. Ridiculous as it might sound to the West. I was talking to some friends yesterday at my friend's hummus place. She was a German journalist, a very smart lady. And she was telling me, what do you mean a hero? He was literally running away from a bunch of trainee soldiers and he couldn't even fight them. And then he went and he hid in the building and then boom, 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 the guy is like, completely mushed and then he just throws a stick. That's not a hero. I told her, that's not a hero in the Western world. That's not the boss fight that Sinwar was maybe, or his followers hoping that he will go and barehandedly fight 10 Mossad agents and Shabak agents and, go Chuck Norris and Jackie Chan on the Navy SEALs and the commandos of Israel. That's not how he went. He went down by a group of trainee soldiers who were going there to defuse some ordnance and then ended up bumping into these guys. Hey, what's going on? Pew, pew, pew. Ah, they ran away. Boom, boom. They got them all down. Sent the drone, threw a stick at him. Bomb. The building is down. A sniper got him, or, the shell from the tank. It's kind of debatable still. Long story short, that was enough to make him a hero. What is the heroes that we have in our world, in the Western world, when it comes to, let's say, military operation? You'll have William Wallace. You'll have Arnon Esmoa, the guy, in the Imam. You'll have the Navy. You'll have in Black Hawk Down, the team from the Green Beret or Delta Force, when they volunteer to jump out of the helicopter or to be landed in Mogadishu and go by themselves to defend the helicopter pilot and fight until the death, sacrificing their life to save others. That's heroes in the Western world. But that's not heroes in the radical Muslim world. Like I said, the bar is very low, lower than you can even imagine. So don't give them ammunition. And that video was just, honestly, a very bad mistake. They should have stuck with the images that showed him in the most humiliating way and finished with that, and that would have sent a shockwave that might have even start diffusing the resistance and kind of those scattered. Start maybe even letting go hostages once IDF keep, pounding and hammering them. But instead of that, what's going to happen right now, it's going to rise up because they're going to play on this. They're going to sing on that. And they are anyway believing any possible lie out there. So that was just a pretty good ammunition to add to their lies. Yeah, that's all I had to say about that. Well, anyway, if you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to go and subscribe, hit, share, the whole shebang. If you want to help support my channel, go and check my Patreon, or you can find practical, direct ways to help me keep doing these videos for you, because after all, I am doing this out of my free time and for free. But until then, stay safe and don't do anything stupid. And in general, just don't do anything that I would do. One guy commented in one of my last videos that he was amused or actually annoyed by the fact that it looks like I pressed the button and ran to the camera to talk. That's called an intro, buddy. So I'm gonna do that again. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the video today. I hope that it was educational. See you next time.